Assalamu alaikum. Today I'm here with another board game review, and today I'll be telling you that why you should play Unicorn Fever. Unicorn Fever is a racing betting game. So even though there is a racing element to it, but you're not really racing in this one. It's mainly a betting game. So something like Camel Up, in which you don't own any of the horses or any of the camels, any of the unicorns, but you're placing bets on them and seeing that who is going to win. The main difference between any other betting game or racing game and this one is going to be that all the bets are placed actually at the start of the game, plus you are going to have different kind of mischievous magic done on each of these horses. So you are trying to actually set up the races before they even begin. So you're going to put spells on these unicorns to either go faster or go slower or have bad kind of effects or that will impact their performance, so that before they reach the rainbow road and your horse on which you have placed the most bets is going to be the winner and not the other way around. So it's going to have two kind of phases, first in which you will be doing all those magics, and then the racing one. So let me get closer to the table, and then I will show you how both of them work and how they will impact the game and how it gets played out. So let's get closer. This is the board of Unicorn Fever, and as I said that the game is going to be distributed into two phases. The first phase is going to be towards this side in the fair, where you're going to start placing your bets. You're going to hire some cheer leaders or contracts to hire these people to actually buck up or get some magical abilities, as well as try to actually set up these or put magical spells on these unicorns before they start racing. How these magical spells are going to be placed is using these kind of cards. Every player is going to start with a handful of these cards, which are going to have some of these white cloud cards and some which are going to be these kind of black cloud cards. The white cards are the good cards. So in case you want some unicorn to win, then you will be placing face down these white cards on them, strategically planning that okay, this is the effect that I want for a specific unicorn. And if you want some horse or unicorn to lose, then you will be placing these black cloud cards on them, again face down, so nobody else will know what you're doing. So for example, if I was the player, what I will be doing, and my interest is that I want this red horse to win, then I might be placing one of these cards and placing it here under the red card. Some other player might have vetted interest in the yellow horse and he's going to play a white card under this one, but the other players will not know what you have placed, either a bad card or a good card. So that's going to remain hidden, and then this will keep on happening. Players will keep on placing cards. You can even place multiple cards on the same horse. If I see someone placing on yellow, maybe I don't want the yellow to win and I think the other person is trying the yellow horse to win, so I will put one of my black cards on it so that the yellow horse is actually going to go slower or whatever the effect is going to say, and I will show you some of these effects in just a minute. But this is how the magical effects are going to take place. Each player is going to play their hand of cards on each of these unicorns, and that's going to determine some of the magical abilities even before the race begins. What else you're going to do is that how do you know which horse you're going to bet on? So based upon what's going to be the player order and what are the speeds of different unicorns, each player is going to first of all get one ownership of a horse. So again, this ownership is kind of a loose ownership. You have some vetted interest in that horse winning. So if I was going for the red horse I was given this based on the play turn order, I'm not going through all the rules, but based on the play turn order, if I was given the red, then I have a vetted interest, and all the players know that I have a vetted interest in red. Similarly, five other players can get one of these, or if you're playing with less players, some players might not be even having any kind of vetted interest in any of the unicorns. But that does not mean that they are only going to be supporting that particular unicorn. they might be supporting other unicorns as well, because this is public information. But I also want to actually go against public information and try for some other horse to win. The other criteria which I'm going to think when trying to actually bet on horses is looking at these and trying to think that, okay, which horse is going to ideally going to win, what's the probability of someone winning, and then what's going to be the payout of that horse. So whichever horse is on the top, these tokens correlate to each of these colors of the horses. These tokens will get randomly placed at the start of the game. So right now this one shows that red horse has the highest probability of win, then blue, then purple, then orange, then yellow, and green has the lowest probability of win, which also brings me to the fact that green will have the highest. Green is kind of an underdog and will have the highest payout. So whatever, for example, the payouts are written in front of these colors. So if the red, everyone knows red is a good horse or unicorn. So the payout is going to be only multiplied by 2. So whatever you will bet on this horse, it will get, if this horse actually wins, will get multiplied by 2. But if the green horse wins, the multiplication factor is by 7. So even though this was the slowest horse and still it wins, then it's going to get multiplied by, whatever you bet will get multiplied by 7. So there is again this gradient shown here, and that also tells me that what's going to be my interest level in betting for these horses or unicorns. Now, how do I actually place a bet on these unicorns now that I understand that what's the priority or probability of them winning? That's where this area is going to come into play. These first 3 tiles are which I'm going to select. So each player on their turn is going to pick one of these tiles to indicate which action they are going to take. For example, if I want to bet on a horse to come in the first position, then I will take this cup position that this horse is going to be the winner. There are multiple tokens here. If I pick up the first one, it's going to give me better bonus than whatever token is next. Why? Because I'm taking a risk on placing the bet before everyone else. So everyone gets some information based on whatever prediction I make. So if I was betting on red to win and I take this one, and I will be placing the red token on this, which indicates that I am betting the red is going to be the winner. So everyone has some information, but there is also some other text on this token which is going to show 2 clover or lucky charms. So I will be placing 2 lucky charms on this, which also means that in case I was right and this red horse does win, then I will be getting these 2 lucky charms as well. The other thing that I'm going to do is, of course, from my money, I'm going to bet that how much money I'm going to bet that this horse is going to, how much sure I am. For example, I bet 4 coins on this. So this is my bet which is going to come to me, and based on this, I'm hoping the bet is going, this horse is going to win. If I do win out, as I said, I have placed 4 money. If the red horse does win, it's going to be 4 multiplied by 2. My money will be doubled, and that's what the he's going to win. Now, someone else can be betting on something else. So for example, the next player goes for the underdog and takes this token. It is going to give him 1 clover, but he bets on the green horse to win, which is at the lowest, and he thinks based on the cards that he have already placed, this horse is going to win, and they place from their money, for example, 4 coins also. But his payout, if this horse actually wins, will be 4 multiplied by 7, so 28 coins. If I win, only 14. This horse is going to win 28 coins. So that's one of the things how the betting is going to work. Other than the first position, you can also win for slightly lower odds, which is going to be for the podium position, that is the show position, that the horse will show on the podium, which these 2 coins represent. So if you take the podium token, that represents that you are betting that either the horse will come on first, second or third position, and that's what these tokens are for, which show the podium. So this player also thinks that green is going to win based on whatever information he has, based on whatever is being bet. So he takes also this green one, whatever bet he wants to place, he can place that bet on this one. Plus these tokens are going to give them 2 multiplied by a potion symbol, which are these potion cards, so they will get these 2 additional magic cards. And maybe they want to place another good magic card on the green one, so that to ensure that yes, the green one should win, and they put a black on the red to make the competitor lose. So that's also one of the ways that this betting mechanism can do. So in this first phase, you are trying to set up the unicorns, that which one is going to win, which one is going to lose. Now that you have seen these tokens, what other tokens are there? This one is going to get you 10 money. So how to get money in case you are running out of money during the betting phase? One of the ways is take this token, you will get 10 money. The carrot token, carrot represents the first player, so next time you will become the first player, you will get 1 additional magic card. If you run out of more money, there are other ways as well. You can always take a loan as well, but again, paying back loan, there is written on the card how much you have to pay back as well. So in case you really want to gamble big, maybe better take a loan and then try to repay that loan with interest. What else you can do? Some of these actions I would like to show to you, that once these tokens run out, there will be some additional actions that are still printed on the board, but some areas don't have anything printed on the board. If something is printed, that does mean that any number of players can keep taking this action over and over. While if there is nothing printed on the board, then that action can no longer be taken by anyone. So the first position, there are only 2 tokens for it. Once 2 bets have been placed, no other bet can be placed on who is going to win the race. Then at the bottom, there are these cheers contract, that who they are hedging for, who they are betting for. There are these contractors which you can hire, which can help you gain passive asymmetrical abilities to actually help you in races. So what you do is, instead of going for this, maybe on your turn you pick up this contract card, and accordingly you pick up one of these contracts. The first one is free, but if you get the next one, or whoever goes later, it has to pay 3 coins, and the next player has to pay 7 coins to get one of these contract cards. What do these contract cards do? There will always be 3 per round. So for example, these are going to actually have different kind of abilities written on it. So for example, if I have this gnome dilemma, at the end of each planning phase, you may swap one of your bet tokens with a bet token of the same kind still available on the board. So maybe if I had placed this bet, and at the end of the phase, if I had that ability, if I had purchased him, and I think this red one for sure is not going to win, too many players have placed bets against them, I will be able to swap this red back, and instead I think now yellow has better probability of winning. I can swap it for yellow. So that's also one of the cheeky things I can do. And there are many other things. There will be some which are going to give you advantage for betting on the particular type of horse. There will be some that let you bet again. Multiple other things can be here. Now, these will get refreshed at the end of the round. The game comes with multiple of these. There are different themes of them. There are gnomes, there are witches, there are so many variety of these cards, contract cards that come with the game. And what the game suggests is that you pick 2 of them and just play with those 2, any 2 families, and then play with them. But I will say, actually, there is so much variety that whatever you play with, it really doesn't matter. So you can even shuffle all of them up and play with any that you want for more variety. Then last one is the very simple, the potion symbol again, 4 multiplied by potion symbol. So if you are running out of good magic cards and want to get some additional magic cards for more abilities, then pick up this one, and then you will have more cards to actually play on your turn, or at least more variety of cards that you can use on your turn. Now once all of this is done, the planning phase will be complete. All the players will be taking back whatever they have bet, so they will be taking it to their areas. Then will come the reveal time. What players will be revealing is, let me remove these from the board, because these are the different bets players have placed. This side will be empty ideally. Now comes the reveal phase of what the different magic tokens are, and per row these cards are going to be revealed. Now do understand that sometimes 2 abilities are going to actually have similar kind of action. So if a starting ability is contradicting with each other, that whether this applies to this horse or this horse, then both those abilities will cancel, or magic effects will cancel each other in the same row. But if they are below, the first row takes priority, then the second row, then the third row. Similarly, if there are two cards underneath a horse which are counteracting with each other, then they will get cancelled as well. But if everything works out, then all these magic abilities will remain active. Moreover, we will also see which horse is actually, or unicorn is at the bottommost, and that horse underdog is going to get one special ability. His own card is going to get flipped over and they will have a special ability on them. Now, what are these special kind of cards? So for example, let me take some of these cards and tell you. For example, this green horse has a meteorite acceleration which gives it sprint +1. So whenever it runs and a dice is rolled and its symbol comes up, instead of moving one additional space which is applicable to all the horses, this horse will move 2 spaces and then this card will be discarded. Until then, this card will remain its place. Loses ties. This is a bad effect. Loses ties. So if 2 horses came on the same turn on the betting line, then the horse, which one has the losing ties, this horse will be considered as the loser and the blue will be considered as the winner. And that's what losing ties is. So in this way, there will be different kind of effects that become applicable to each of these unicorns. Now, let's move on to the next phase, which is going to be the actual race phase. And once we understand that what each of these horses are going to do, then the actual race phase is going to begin. Now, no more player interaction is going to be there and we are just going to see how the races play out. So a card will be revealed, and as I said, the horses on the top have higher speed than the horses on the bottom, and this will be shown on the card. So for example, the horses on the top have 2 speed, the horses at the bottom are going to get 1 speed. So red, blue and purple, red, blue and purple and orange are moving 2 spaces, whereas yellow and green are moving just 1 space. But also at the end of each card phase, you're going to roll 2 dice, and which is going to indicate that how much they are going to sprint. So for example, the red sprints and the yellow sprint 1 space. So there is some random element for 2 horses that gets added onto additional card. Similarly, again, card will be revealed and accordingly they will be moving 2, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, and in this way you will be keep rolling and the horses will keep on going. Plus, if there are any additional abilities here, they will come into effect and accordingly trigger. Sometimes the horse will go to freeze action because there was a magic to freeze him, there was a magic to push him, there was a magic to, if double dice, sometimes some magic is going to push them, that if their 2 sprint dice both show their symbol, they are going to just jump to the finish line as well. And so there can be different kind of magical abilities, but in this way we will keep revealing, we will keep rolling and accordingly keep moving them. Now, what happens as soon as some horse crosses the finish line, then immediately they will go. In that round, you will move all the horses. First, you will leave them there. And this was the state. Green moves 1 and red moves 1 further. So if this was the state, then you're going to look at that which horse, 2 horses have now crossed the finish line. But since red is further down the road, so red goes in the first spot, yellow goes in the second spot. And for the others, the race still continues. You will be opening again. The blue moves 2, so it has crossed but not yet done because the purple moves 3 spaces. So purple is on the same location as well. But we will be also seeing any special ability that does it lose ties. For the blue one, there was a magic that yes, it was going to lose ties. So we will consider that out of these 2, the green moves 2 spaces, it didn't finish, and the orange moves only 1, so it didn't finish as well. Rolling dice, and yellow is not in the game. So Purple goes on third because blue loses ties, so it goes on this position. Another card will reveal and we will see, for example, the green comes here and the orange comes here, for example. And this tells now that what the final positions are going to be. Accordingly, now the pairs are going to happen. Those who bet first position on the red, I had swapped that token. Maybe I will not win because I had only bet on that yellow is going to come in the first place, but yellow came in second place, not in the first place. So I lost that bet. I'll be losing the money, I'll be losing the lucky charms, which are the victory points. But if anyone had placed the bet that yes, it's going to show on the podium, they will be winning that bet. And that's how the bets will be seen. Everyone who bet on these things will be resolved. Accordingly, they will get money. Plus, we will move the round counter to the second round. There will be 4 rounds. What else will be checked is that which horse performed better than what was expected. So for example, the green was expected to come the last, but it performed better than that. So the green will go higher on this track. The yellow performed poorer than how it performed, so it will go lower. The red performed equal to his performance, so it remains in the same place. The blue performed poorer. The purple guy performed equal to what he performs. The orange performed poorer. And in this way, you will be getting some new stats and the horses will come back on their starting locations. You will be getting some new stats, and whatever horse is on the lowest position, now they will have an unlocked ability as well. They have become the new underdog and their special ability will unlock. So for example, for the yellow, when this unicorn sprints, it moves 2 spaces instead of 1. So whenever this symbol is rolled, the yellow on the dice, it will move 2 spaces forever and ever. So that's how these things will move. Market will be reset, all the tokens will go back and a new round will begin. We will have new contracts. Everything restarts just like a fresh pair of hands with magic spells and everything. We'll go through complete 4 rounds, and at the end, whoever has more lucky charms, which is the victory points, we will see those. Plus some of these contract cards are going to have lucky charm symbols on them, so they count as victory points as well. So these will be counted as well, and whoever has more lucky charms, that is victory points, is going to be considered the winner. Now that you have seen how the game works out, let me now give my opinion on the gameplay. First of all, as well as the overall impression of the production. The production of this game is going to be beautiful. Now that's no small feat for Horrible Guild. They are known for their beautiful production of the games that they do. So for example, Potion Explosion is one of their famous games, and you know that the games will look incredible once they come out from Horrible Guild. And it's no different here. Whether, even though I was not really sure about a rainbow looking road just divided into grid, the board looked too garish to me, but when you look at all the additional artwork that went on the right side, it's like a festival of elves, gnomes, and other fairy creatures. The mushrooms are there and beautiful flowers, and it makes it feel like that really there is a festival going on, and there on the rainbow race is happening and people are betting on those races. So it does give the board a beautiful feel, even though that feel is actually captured throughout in the artwork and the cards that get placed on them. How that is achieved is that, for example, on the top there is a tree which is part of the artwork. So the cards that get placed on the tree side actually have the tree texture, tree patterns on them, so they become part of the board. Then the tokens for the different positions are actually the banners that are placed inside the festival, and you are placing the tokens on those banner festivals. So all these tokens are not separate things, they become part of the elements of the artwork inside, which is really beautiful. Then the artwork of the creatures on these cards. So on these contract cards, you are going to see some of very fantastic artwork of different creatures that are going to be there, some very funny characters and their names with understandable characteristics or what they are going to give you for the passive powers that you are going to do. So that's going to be there. Similarly, for the power up cards, again, it's very funny. So there will be bubblegum magic, that the bubblegum has stuck underneath the feet of the unicorns, or a chain and ball has been stuck to the chain, and a frozen unicorn. So very funny artwork is going to be there. Spicy impulses to actually increase the start speed of your unicorns. The horse is eating a spice, things like that. So the artwork in this one is really whimsical and meets that one, which brings to the figurine that comes with this one. So these are really plump kind of unicorns. These are not your majestic unicorns that we are talking about. These are whimsical unicorns that come with the game. They come unpainted. I have painted my own unicorns. So but it's really simple to paint them up, but even if you don't paint them, the skulls are different for each of the unicorn that is going to come in the game, and they are unique to look at. I will not say they were really the best kind of sculpts, even though they are funny, but I would have preferred slightly more realistic. I don't know why, because it's a whimsical game. But I think everyone was made so plump, and so maybe one or two would have been plump, and that would have been funny. I don't know, but that's my opinion. So, but still, the children are going to enjoy looking at these unicorns. But this isn't going to, from the feel, like it feels like that this is going to be a children's game, but from now coming to the gameplay, this isn't a children's game. This is going to be slightly more complex than your regular racing games. This has feels of camel up, in which you are placing your bets against the camels and then seeing how they perform. Same thing is going to happen here, but on a different kind of scale. And in my opinion, I think Camel Up had more, well, tactical nature, in which you had better control, because you could actually see how the movement of things are changing the race and then accordingly change your tactics. But in this one, the only thing you know is that, okay, who is betting on who and how many cards have been placed. Are they good? Are they bad? You have no idea. So all of those bets being placed at the start of the race, I thought was actually not a great idea, but that's how they have planned the game out. Now, do understand that in my review, I have many times messed up and called them horses instead of unicorns. The reason being that this is a re-theme of a horse betting game. It was, I think, called Horse Fever, and now this is being called Unicorn Fever. But they are essentially the same kind of game, but of course this has been further improved. But the core essence of the game are the same, which is you set up the races before they begin. So if you like that kind of game, only then you're going to enjoy this. But as far as my taste was concerned, then placing all the bets before even the race starts and having no control afterwards, once the begins and let's just see what happens, that kind of feeling I didn't like. Even though you will get a second round and third round, but in each of those rounds the same thing is going to happen over and over, that you will have to place all your bets beforehand, you will have to place all your magic cards beforehand, and that wasn't the best kind of feeling in my opinion. So the game will be over in 40 minutes. This plays for 2 to 6 players, so it can handle large group of people, as compared, because nobody is actually controlling any particular horse. But of course, since each player is at least interested in one of these horses, so that's why it's limited to 6 horses, 6 players, as compared to Camel Up, which can go up to 8 players, even though I don't really recommend that. But still, it can also contribute to 2 to 6 players. Now, as you have seen that there are some good things. The contract cards are really something that were my favorite part of the game, and I really like that. But there are other things, which is all this whole concept of phase 1 being completely disconnected from phase 2, which I didn't like. So if you are like me and don't like to put all your bets in a basket before the race begins, then maybe you will also not like this. But if you like those kind of betting odds, because that's how real racing works, then maybe you're going to enjoy this much more. If you like chaos in your game, then you are going to enjoy this game a lot, because well, nothing is going to go as per your plan because you thought red was going to win the race, and uh, well, people put so much magic on it, and all of it was all black or bad magic on it, so it never won the race. That might happen as well. So if you like that kind of chaos, then only then Unicorn Fever is going to be for you. So I hope this gave you an overview of how the game works out and whether this game is going to be the right one for you or not. That's it for me. Happy gaming.